give you a ride. Got room for one more. Cool, yeah, sure. See you in a few. Bye.
All right. Ethan, away.
Away.
Now that's the way to make an entrance. Mr. President, the candidates are assembled.
Well, everything else about your senior year was different. We thought, why not this? How about a little appreciation for Nathan Piercy and Ethan Cox in this latest demonstration of Boilermaker ingenuity? Today we're gathered in formal convocation to celebrate the 243rd commencement exercises at Purdue University. Please rise and join in singing our national anthem, and then remain standing for the invocation offered today by Pastor Rob Schrumpf, representing the Purdue Christian Campus House.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Would you pray with me, please? Dear God, as we continue to reflect on all that this year has been and how it has affected each of us and all of us, we acknowledge that we are filled with a myriad of thoughts and emotions. Today, though, may the most prevalent feeling be one of wonder and gratitude at your provision on every front. Thank you for your gifts of wisdom, creativity, and perseverance to navigate these uncharted waters. Thank you for the ongoing display of compassion and self-sacrifice demonstrated in and throughout this campus community. Thank you for these graduates who have set the bar higher, not only in their achievements, but in their character, each blessed with the dignity, purpose, and possibility that comes from being created in your image and so deeply loved by you. Thank you for their families and friends, for the faculty and administration who have inspired, stretched, and encouraged each of them along this journey. And for all of these, we are immensely grateful. And now we ask your blessing on this time, asking that you would fill us with your breathtaking and inescapable joy. Amen.
This is the moment, this is the day, this is the moment when I know I'm on my way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into play, is here and now today. This is the moment, this is the time, when the momentum and the moment are in rhyme. Give me this moment, this moment, this moment. I'll gather up my past and make some sense at last. This is the moment, my final test. Destiny beckons, I never reckon second best. This is the day, just see it shine, when all I've lived for becomes mine. This is the moment, my time is near. This day or never, I walk forever without fear. When I look back, I will recall, moment for moment, this was the moment, the greatest moment of them all. The greatest moment, moment of them all.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my happy privilege to extend a very cordial welcome to all who have joined us for the 243rd commencement ceremony at Purdue University. We're honored to have with us Mr. Sonny Beck, the University Board of Trustees member from Atlanta, Indiana. Please join me in greeting Trustee Beck. With us also representing the Purdue University administration, the following individuals: Jay Ackridge, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Diversity; Michael Klein, Senior Vice President for Administrative Operations; Beth McCuskey, Vice Provost for Student Life; Peter Hollenbeck, Vice Provost for Faculty Affairs; Christina Wong Davis, Vice Provost for Enrollment Management. Nancy Marchand Martella, Dean, College of Education. Karen Plout, Dean, College of Agriculture. Linda Mason, Dean of the Graduate School. Meng Shang, Dean, College of Engineering. Marion Underwood, Dean, College of Health and Human Sciences. David Reingold, Dean, College of Liberal Arts. David Hummels, Dean of the School of Management. Eric Barker, Dean of the College of Pharmacy. And our leader in the clubhouse for popularity so far. Gary Bertolini, Dean, the Polytechnic Institute. Leave it to pharmacy to start something here. Lucy Flesh, Associate Dean of the College of Science. Willie Reed, Dean of the College of Veterinary Medicine. Deborah Nichols, Chair of the University Senate and our Grand Marshal this morning, and Keith Garris, University Registrar and Chair of the Commencement Committee. Will you join me in thanking these individuals? Also pleased to have with us on the platform other vitally important members of the university family, J. Michael Pigott, our public orator, Wendy Yoder-Nice, and Myron Yoder, our sign language interpreters. Join me in giving them a special thanks for their indispensable help today. This year, when I say I'm happy to be here, I'm not just making small talk. If you're like me, you're happy to be anywhere after the year we've all been through. I wish we were over in Elliott Hall, celebrating your achievements individually as only Purdue does among schools our size. But this beats the virtual version we were forced to in 2020 and marks a long step back on the path to fully normal life. As we've never done an outdoor commencement before, we may have gotten a few things wrong. For one thing, way out here on the 50-yard line, it feels like we carried that social distance thing a little far. Well, however well it goes, like everything about your senior year, it'll be one for the history books. For all the trouble and downsides, there can be some real value in living through a time like this. For decades to come, scholars and ordinary citizens alike will look back on your senior year trying to identify its consequences and imagine what lives so disrupted were like. As they do so, they'll know more than we can now about the results of the choices today's leaders made. They will reach judgments with the benefit of hindsight about the wisdom and maturity with which our nation handled this challenge in this particular pandemic. Odds are, not all those judgments will be favorable. Time will tell. An ability to comprehend and work with complex facts and data has always been part of a Purdue education. At least since the industrial age, that's been an essential for a useful life of the kind at which Boilermakers excel. But that's never been nearly so true as today. Massive amounts of information are being collected intentionally by us and silently by the machines we invent and use in daily life. Interpreting its meaning and discovering patterns within it is perhaps the most important skill in the economy of 2021. Our faculty has determined that data analysis, as we now call it, should be as universal a part of a Boilermaker education as English composition. You will leave this stadium able to evaluate statistics and whether they are significant or meaningless. You'll know better than to confuse correlation with causation. You'll look at decisions critically and holistically, understanding that any objective pursued too far eventually yields diminishing returns not worth their cost. That just as all medicines have side effects, almost all actions produce collateral consequences, often collateral damage. It doesn't stretch a point to say that we wouldn't be meeting here today without those skills. keeping Purdue open last fall so that you could stay on schedule and graduate today required the daily examination of COVID-19 infection rates and patterns of its spread on and around the campus. Prior to that, the decision to reopen at all involved a reading of the available data, which showed even then that people your age were at far less risk from the virus than from a host of other dangers. Starting soon, these decisions will be yours to make. In businesses you start or join, in causes in which you feel called to enlist, or in that most important of all organizations, the families I hope you will form. Wherever they are, the very essence of your coming leadership roles will lie in making hard choices. After weighing all the options, the competing priorities, and the uncertainties that even the biggest databases cannot totally eliminate, others will look to you to choose. The risk of failure, of a hit to one's reputation, or just that the gains don't outweigh the costs, all these can deter or paralyze a person out of fulfilling the responsibility someone has entrusted to them. Should I make this investment or husband my cash? Take that job offer or stay where I'm comfortable? Engage in this debate or sit silently? Choose this life partner or play it safe? This last year, many of your elders failed this fundamental test of leadership. They let their understandable human fear of uncertainty overcome their duty to balance all the interests for which they were responsible. They hid behind the advice of experts in one field, but ignored the warnings of experts in other realms that they might do harm beyond the good they hoped to accomplish. Sometimes they let what might be termed the mad pursuit of zero, in this case, zero risk of anyone contracting the virus, to block out other competing concerns like the protection of mental health, the educational needs of small children, or the survival of small businesses. Pursuing one goal to the utter exclusion of all others is not to make a choice, but to run from it. It's not leadership, it's abdication. I feel confident your Purdue preparation won't let you fall prey to it. But there's a companion quality you'll need to be the leaders you can be. That's the willingness to take risks, not reckless ones, but the risks that still remain after all the evidence has been considered. Great societies before us tended to look backward for their inspiration, to locate their golden ages in the past. Here, our eyes have always been forward, but now signs abound of Americans losing that eagerness to move ahead boldly. Before the virus visited us, there were already troubling signs that fearfulness was beginning to erode the spirit of adventure, the willingness to take considered risks on which this nation's greatness was built and from which all progress originates. Rates of business startups moving in pursuit of a better job, or the strongest of all bets on the future, having children, all have fallen sharply in recent years. And now there are warnings that the year 2020 may have weakened that spirit further. As early as April of last year, researchers at the Federal Reserve of St. Louis documented the, quote, belief-scarring effects of COVID-19. Psychologists proved a long time ago that we humans tend to overestimate how common terrible events are. Because they are terrible, we're more sure to hear about them, and we trick ourselves into believing they are far more likely than they really are. Now we learn that such misconceptions can be long-lasting. The scarring effect that the Fed's economists tell us, quote, a persistent change of beliefs about the probability of an extreme negative shock, producing long-lived responses to transitory events, especially extreme, unlikely ones. Fortunately, Boilermakers don't scar easily. If Amelia Earhart had been intimidated by uncertainty, we wouldn't know her name. If our recent board chair, Keith Kroc, had stayed within the safe confines of a giant corporation's career ladder, the world would not enjoy the huge efficiency breakthroughs of Ariba and DocuSign. If Neil Armstrong, Gus Grissom, and more than a score more Purdue astronauts had run from risk, humanity's knowledge of its universe would be far short of our current boundaries. In the most jarring book of recent years, the Israeli philosopher Yuval Harari predicts that humans your age will live to see, quote, the last days of death, when the species we call Homo sapiens becomes, he calls them, godlings and immortal. He sees this happening through one of the same technologies at which this university excels, either biological engineering or cyborg engineering of our organic beings, or simply the complete replacement of humans by super-intelligent machines. Immortality sounds good until Harari points out the implications. One of them would be a total aversion to risk. If you believe you can live forever, why would you ever take a chance of any kind? I hope that the experiences of 2020 left you with an attitude not of fearfulness, but of confidence. Confidence that we can tackle hard problems and that hiding from them is rarely the best course. That given a careful examination of the available facts and a thoughtful calculation of relative risks, we can overcome even the biggest obstacles and be the masters of our fates and our futures. As school started again at her campus, the provost of Kansas University sent a message to her students and colleagues that's relevant far beyond the present day or the recent pandemic. She wrote, "In times of high anxiety, it is human nature to crave certainty for the safety it provides. The problem with craving certainty is that it's a false hope. It's a craving that can never fully be met." She quoted the astronomer Carl Sagan. "The history of science teaches us that the most we can hope for is successive improvement in our understanding, learning from our mistakes, with the proviso that absolute certainty will always elude us." Maybe the great historian Jacques Barzun summed it up best. The last degree of caution is cowardice. Certainty is an illusion. Perfect safety is a mirage. Zero is always unattainable, except in the case of absolute zero, where, as you remember, all motion and life stops. You are leaving here ready for leadership. Your academic records say so. The history of Purdue graduates says so. The character you demonstrated this last year when your embrace of the Purdue Pledge enabled this place to stay open at all clearly says so. We know that you will tackle leadership's challenges as they present themselves to you. You're taking with you all the tools to weigh alternatives, balance priorities, assess relative risks. All you'll need is the courage to act on the conclusions you reach. Now take that readiness into a fearful, timid world crying for leadership and direction and boldness, where the biggest risk of all is that we stop taking risks at all. Hail Purdue and each of you. I now ask the Public Orator, Mr. J. Michael Piggott, to announce the names of the honorary degree candidates to be recognized today and to recite the records of their accomplishments. Mr. Piggott.
Marion K. Underwood, Dean of the College of Health and Human Sciences, will now escort Jack Calhoun to the rostrum for the awarding of the degree of Doctor of Health and Human Sciences honoris causa. Jack Calhoun is an esteemed consumer products and fashion executive. He currently serves as senior advisor at McKinsey & Company, a global management consulting firm, where he advises clients in consumer products, retail, beauty, fashion, and luxury products. Calhoun is the former global president of Banana Republic, during which time he oversaw all aspects of the $3 billion global business, including all brand, product, and employee experiences for more than 700 stores and 22,000 employees across 25 countries. Calhoun led Banana Republic to historically high profitability and industry-leading operating margins. He expanded the business by introducing a sub-branded product lines and new brand categories. A pioneer of multiple complex partnerships, Calhoun was responsible for developing the first fashion brand integration with reality TV show Project Runway. He also developed successful product lines with 2 costume designers for their Academy Award-winning movies. Additionally, he led the prosperous brand partnerships with the Golden Globe-winning TV series Mad Men and spearheaded numerous other substantial fashion, designer, and branded partnerships. He currently is an executive board member of the San Francisco Opera, vice chair of the Fine Arts Museums of San Francisco, and chairman of the Australian fashion brand Lack of Color. At Purdue University, Calhoun was president of the Purdue Student Union Board, chair of Iron Key, a member of Purdue's Varsity Glee Club, and was awarded the G.A. Ross Award as an outstanding senior male graduate. He graduated from Purdue in 1987 with a bachelor degree in technology.
Greetings, distinguished colleague. Upon the nomination of the faculty, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Purdue University, I now confer upon you, Jack Calhoun, the degree of Doctor of Health and Human Sciences, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, duties, and responsibilities of that degree. As evidence of this highest honor the university can bestow, you will now be vested with the hood and receive a suitably and appropriately inscribed diploma. Thank you.
David L. Hummels, Dean of the School of Management, will now escort Gregory J. Hayes to the rostrum for the awarding of the degree of Doctor of Management honoris causa. Greg Hayes is the Chief Executive Officer of Raytheon Technologies Corporation, responsible for leading an aerospace and defense company of 180,000 employees and $64 billion in annual sales. Also serving as a member of the company board of directors, Hayes had a nearly 21-year career at United Technologies Corporation, holding several senior leadership roles across finance, corporate strategy, and business development, culminating with his appointment to Chief Executive Officer in 2014 and Chairman in 2016. As CEO, Hayes led the reshaping of UTC from industrial conglomerate to focused aerospace company. Beginning with the divestiture of Sikorsky Aircraft in 2015 and the acquisition of Rockwell Collins in 2018, Hayes continued to focus the business with the spin-offs of Otis Elevator Company and Carrier Corporation in 2020. Hayes then led the merger of UTC's remaining aerospace businesses, Pratt & Whitney and Collins Aerospace Systems, with Raytheon Company to form Raytheon Technologies in April 2020. Hayes, who joined UTC in 1999 through its merger with the Sunstrand Corporation, also served as UTC's Chief Financial Officer from 2008 to 2014. During the current pandemic, he has overseen the production of 3D printed masks for healthcare workers and the development of engineering solutions to help reduce viral spread in airports and aircraft. Hayes is a board member of the Business Roundtable, a national association of CEOs who work to promote the U.S. economy. He also is a board member of the National Academy Foundation, a national network focused on solving challenges related to education and the economy, as well as a board member of the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum, which maintains the world's largest collection of aviation and space artifacts. Hayes is a former member of the Krannert Dean's Advisory Council. Hayes earned a bachelor's degree in management from the Krannert School in 1982 and is a certified public accountant.
Greetings, distinguished colleague. Upon the nomination of the faculty and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Purdue University, I now confer upon you, Gregory J. Hayes, the degree of Doctor of Management, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, duties, and responsibilities of that degree. As evidence of this highest honor the university can bestow, you will now be vested with the hood and receive an appropriately inscribed diploma. Congratulations.
Mr. President, I am pleased to present the candidates for degrees from the graduate school. Candidates, please stand as I call your degree and remain standing. Doctor of Audiology. Doctor of Nursing Practice. All master's degree candidates. Mr. President, these students have successfully fulfilled the requirements of the graduate curricula. With the approval of the faculty, they are now presented to you for conferral.
Exercising the authority of the trustees of Purdue University, legally vested by the people of the state of Indiana, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I now confer upon each of you the appropriate graduate degree with all the rights, privileges, duties, and responsibilities of that degree. As evidence of this great achievement, you have received an appropriately inscribed diploma. Congratulations. Please be seated. With us today is Kyle R. Albertson, the recipient of the 2021 Tyler Trent Courage and Resilience Award, a special recognition that honors the strength and determination of both the recipient and the award's namesake. Let's recognize Kyle. It's also appropriate at this time we give special recognition to those graduates who have demonstrated outstanding scholastic achievement, leadership, and service to the university community. On page 76 of the program, you'll find the criteria for special student awards that honor these achievements. Will the recipients for the special student awards please stand as you are able and remain standing? On page 26 and 27 of the program, you'll find the explanation of the criteria for awarding degrees with highest distinction and distinction, along with the names of the graduates who have earned an honors designated degree by completing the requirements of the Purdue Honors College. Will those graduates who are candidates from the Honors College please stand? Next, will those graduates who are candidates for the honor of highest distinction please stand and remain standing? And now will those graduates who are candidates for the honor of distinction please stand and join them? We'd also like to recognize those graduates who accomplished the monumental task of balancing their equally demanding academic and athletic commitments. You'll find our student athletes listed on page 75 of the program. Will those graduates who have earned the Student Athlete Medallion please stand? On behalf of the trustees and the faculty, congratulations on these accomplishments. We're counting on you to continue making exceptional contributions in all your future endeavors. Now, please be seated.
Mr. President, I am pleased to present the candidates for professional, baccalaureate, and associate degrees. Candidates, please stand as I call your college or school and remain standing. College of Pharmacy, Doctor of Pharmacy. College of Veterinary Medicine, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. College of Agriculture. College of Education. College of Engineering. College of Health and Human Sciences. College of Liberal Arts. School of Management. College of Pharmacy. The Polytechnic Institute. College of Science. And the College of Veterinary Medicine. Mr. President, these students have successfully fulfilled the requirements of the professional and undergraduate curricula in their respective college or school. With the approval of the faculty, they are now presented to you for conferral.
I want to enjoy this. If any class in Purdue history has earned this moment, it's you. So, exercising the authority of the trustees of Purdue University, legally vested by the people of the state of Indiana, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I now confer upon each of you the appropriate professional, baccalaureate, and associate degree with all the rights, privileges, duties, and responsibilities of that degree. As evidence of your achievement, you have received an appropriately inscribed diploma. Congratulations. Well, you're now graduates of Purdue University, and it's time for you to observe tradition by moving your tassel from the right side of the mortarboard to the left, signifying your new status. We honor these graduates for their hard work and accomplishments, but they'd be the first to tell us they didn't make the journey alone. So, will the parents, grandparents, spouses, brothers, sisters, other family members, and friends please stand so these graduates can thank you for your long and loving support. I direct your attention to page 73, where you will find the names of graduates who have been commissioned by the President of the United States as second lieutenants in the United States Army, Air Force, Marines, Space Force, and ensigns in the United States Navy. Also, you may have noticed that some of our graduates are wearing red, white, and blue cords. These signify they are veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces. Will those servicemen and women stand so we can recognize them and express our sincere gratitude?
in swelling echoes come the cheers that tell the tale of the victors and the heroes. Ever do we sing all hail. Hail, hail to old Purdue, all hail to our old golden flag. Hail, hail to old Purdue, our friends of the nation and the flag. Ever grateful, ever true, blessed remains our song anew. Of the days we spent with you, all hail to our old Purdue.
And so we conclude our commencement convocation. On behalf of the trustees, the faculty, and all the Purdue family, I bid you farewell and Godspeed. Pastor Rob Schrumpf will offer the benediction. Please remain seated afterwards while the faculty and the graduates recess.
Would you pray with me, please? Lord, I pray your blessing and grace on each of these graduates as they walk out of this stadium and into the next chapter of their lives and vocations. Would you give each of them the motivation to continue to learn, to imagine, to create? Would you give each of them confidence filled with humility and courage replete with integrity? Would you give each of them the tenacity to stand for what is right and to stand with those who cannot stand for themselves? Would you sustain each of them with solid relationships, good work, and flourishing community? Would you protect each of them from harm, from loneliness, and from self-centeredness? Would you give each of them the character, compassion, and innovation to make a difference, to change the world in big and small ways? God, would you go with them? In your name we pray. Amen.
You shall go out with joy. You shall go out with joy.